Hey, what's up y'all? My name is Paul Che and today I'm going to be showing off my updated manga collection for the end of June 2019. So this time around, I'm going to put some information down as I go through each of the series that I showcase. Things like, the name of the series, how many volumes I have, who was written by, the publisher, and my personal score of these manga series. Now keep in mind, some of these manga series are incomplete. So for those series that are still ongoing, that's going to be my score as of what I've read. And those scores are subject to change as the series goes on and once it's completed. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, in our first shelf, we got volumes 1 through 22, 20th Century Boys, and volumes 1 and 2 of 21st Century Boys, the epilogue. Complete series, written by Naoki Urasawa. Very good series, but I like Monster better. Volumes 1 through 4, After the Rain, solid seinen series that is about to end with its 5th volume. Ayori Aoshi volumes 1 through 17, an old school Tokyo Pop series that I first collected when I was a teenager, and a very out of print series. Air Gear volumes 1 through 37, complete series. Took me a little over a decade to complete this, but I'm very proud to finally have finished this series. Ajin volumes 1 through 12, solid seinen series. Volumes 1 through 10, The Ancient Magus Bride, an amazing magic series with a great anime adaptation. Volumes 1 through 14, Arpeggio of Blue Steel, a fun little series that I enjoy. At Pop Sims volumes 1 to 2, 1 and 2, a new series put out by Satomu Nihei, the creator of Knights of Sidonia. I'm getting a lot of Nier Automata vibe from it, so I've enjoyed from what I've read so far. Ayako, short story written by Osamu Tezuka, and this is published by Vertical, so I'm not sure if this is out of print or not. Battle Angel volumes 1 through 5. These reprinted high quality hardcover editions, and I don't like these spines to be honest, but nonetheless I'm so glad I have this series. Volumes 1 through 5, Battle Royale Ultimate Edition, a very horribly out of print and a super expensive series to afford for collectors, but proud owner of this very horribly out of print series. Berserk volumes 1 through 39, up to date. Apparently Kentaro Miura is writing chapters again, but this is probably my favorite manga series of all time. Black God volumes 1 through 19, a very underrated martial arts series. Fans of martial arts series should definitely check this out. Black Lagoon volumes 1 through 10. So it has been confirmed that Rei Hiroe is writing chapters again, which I thought he was writing chapters like a few years ago. Volumes 1 through 8, Blade of the Immortal Omnibuses. This was originally published in the late 90s, I believe, but glad to see that Dark Horse is republishing this in these high quality 3-in-1 editions. Up in our next shelf, our second shelf, we have Boarding School Juliet, volumes 1 through 5. Very funny, surprisingly funny comedic twist on the Romeo and Juliet tragedy. Bokurano volumes 1 through 11, a very dark mecha series and this is an out of print series. Platoon volumes 1 through 24, up to date. The 26th volume is the final volume, and the final chapter is actually a 2-part chapter, which one of them is a good ending, one of them is a bad ending. So it'll be pretty interesting to read that when the time comes. Volumes 1 through 10, Children of the Whales, a very good series that is currently being published by Viz Media. Dead Demons Destruction, a new series put out by Inio Asano. Volumes 1 through 4, this is up to date, and so far from what I've read, it's pretty good. Dead Mount Death Play volumes 1 and 2. First volume was given to me as a gift, and I decided to buy the second volume just to get a better gauge. So far from what I've read, I don't know if I'm going to continue. Demon Slayer volumes 1 through 6, up to date. Solid, very good Shonen Jump series with a pretty decent adaptation, even though it is being adapted by Studio Ufotable, the creators of Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night and Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel. Dorohedoro volumes 1 through 22, up to date. 23rd volume is the final volume, so I can't wait to finally complete this series. Anime adaptation is coming out, and we still don't know what studio is animating the series. Dr. Stone volumes 1 through 5 up to date. Another new amazing manga Shonen Jump series put out by Viz Media. And there's an anime adaptation that is about to begin, and you can see it on Crunchyroll. Eminon volumes 1. This is a new manga that is created by the same creator of The Wandering Island. Fate Zero volumes 1 through 8. To date, it's taking Dark Horse. Dark Horse is taking their sweet time publishing this, so hopefully I'm not 70 years old by the time they finish this. The Flowers of Evil volumes 1 through 11, the single volume editions, and this is a complete series. One of the craziest things I've ever read. Vertical is republishing this in this complete edition, so I think that means that the single volumes are out of print. Food Wars volumes 1 through 30. You might as well skip to this timestamp if you don't want to be spoiled, because I'm about to drop some big major spoiler bombs. But I hate how the ending ended. I knew it was gonna end like that, with Erina and Soma still facing off each other to, I guess, impress Erina's mom. I don't know. It kind of fell in the same fate that Bleach did, but not as bad. There are 4 more epilogue chapters, which is supposedly supposed to wrap things up. So we'll just have to see. But I knew it. I knew once the conclusion of the central arc reached, that Shonen Jump was going to milk this series, and because of it, the quality of the series was going to deteriorate, and it did. So unfortunately, as a fan of Food Wars, I'm very disappointed. But I will still complete the series because I do still enjoy Food Wars. But yeah. Anyways, Gantz volumes 1 through 37, a complete series. Very bizarre sci-fi manga series written and illustrated by Hiroya Oku. Gleipnir volumes 1 and 2, a very crazy new manga series that I am thoroughly enjoying. Can't wait to read more of this. The God's Lie, a one-shot written by Kaori Ozaki. Very underrated one-shot. It has a pretty dark twist towards the end of the manga, so I highly recommend you guys to get this. Very short read. Golden Kamuy volumes 1 through 10, a great seinen series that is still ongoing. Goodnight Poon Poon volumes 1 through 7, a complete series. Probably the best, or at least one of the best psychological mangas that I have ever read. Grand Blue Dreaming volumes 1 through 6 up to date, a very over the top and absolutely absurd and hilarious manga series. But not as hilarious as the next series, which is Great Teacher Onizuka GTO. Volumes 1 through 25, a complete series. This is the very first manga series that I have collected when I first got into manga as a teenager, and I think this is the greatest comedy manga of all time, hands down. If you guys can find a way to get this series, this complete series, for a pretty good deal online, like on eBay, Craigslist, or wherever, jump on that because you will not be disappointed by this comedic masterpiece. Gunsmith Cats volumes 1 through 4. This is a 2-in-1 omnibus that was originally published by Dark Horse back in the early 90s, but this is a reprint that I guess was published in the 2000s. Features one of my favorite female protagonists, and very, very fun read. This is a very horribly out of print series. Gunsmith Cats Burst volumes 1 through 5. It's the sequel to Gunsmith Cats. Unfortunately, had a very extremely disappointing ending, so I'm pretending that this is not canon and that this itself is standalone in the complete series. Up on our third shelf, we've got Hellsing volumes 1 through 10, old school manga that was published by Dark Horse, and this is a complete series, out of print as well. Very fun vampire, bloody, gory action stuff. H.P. Lovecraft, The Hound. This is a manga adaptation by Tanabe of H.P. Lovecraft's horror stories. If you're a fan of Lovecraft, I highly recommend you guys check this out. I Am a Hero volumes 1 through 9 omnibus. The 11th omnibus, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the final volume, and this is probably the best zombie manga out there. Ikigami volumes 1 through 10, solid and very underrated seinen series. Immortal Hounds volumes 1 through 6. So apparently after volume 6, it gets renamed, or it's considered the sequel, called Immortal Ridges, which tells the continuing story from perspectives of different vectors, which I'm not a big fan of that. But regardless, the original 6 volumes right here is very good, very underrated. Highly recommend you guys check this out. Inuyashiki volumes 1 through 10, complete series. Series written and illustrated by Hiroya Oku. I think this is slightly better than Gantz. Not a long commitment to read. Somewhat short, but good stuff. Yomigan volumes 1 through 11, complete series. Volume 6 is still horribly out of print. Last time I checked, this book itself was selling for $700. So yeah, good luck to all you guys who are trying to complete this series. Kaguya-sama Love is War, volumes 1 through 8. A very surprisingly fun psychological Shonen Jump series that features a boy and a girl who are in love with each other, but they decide to play mind games of who will confess to each other first. Kakegurui volumes 1 through 10. From volume 7 and up, I'm kind of losing interest of this series because there's no sense of direction, so I have no idea where it's going to go from there. I don't know if I'm going to continue or if I'm going to stop, but we'll have to see. I mean, from volume 7 to 10, I start to lose interest. Land of the Lustrous volumes 1 through 8, a really great manga series put out by Kodansha, and the artwork of this series is amazing. I know I said I'm going to do a recommendation video of this, but I'll say this again, I just have to find time to do it. Lone Wolf and Cub volumes 1 through 28, a very old school Dark Horse manga that was published back in the early 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Very out of print as well. I think they have the ugly 3-in-1 editions that Dark Horse did previously publish, but these are the rare single volume, tiny volumes that I managed to find on the internet for a good deal. Love Hina volumes 1 through 14, complete series. This is an out of print series. Kodansha did re-release these in the ugly 3-in-1 editions. Very fun guilty pleasure of mine that I enjoyed. Another old series that I collected way back when I was a teenager. Made in Abyss volumes 1 through 6 right here. Surprisingly, a very dark manga series that I am enjoying the heck out of. Magical Girl volumes 1 through 6, up to date. I did make a manga recommendation video of this. Unfortunately, somebody at Square Enix found that video and did a official DMC takedown of it, and because of that, I have one copyright strike on my channel. So I have to be careful for the next 3 months until that copyright strike disappears from my channel. But needless to say, I thought I was following fair use, but apparently still images of manga panels from the manga itself is illegal. So I guess I deserve that. So I guess to Square Enix, I apologize. So I will follow the rules next time. So yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, but I should have been more careful. Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin volumes 1 through 12 in these absolute beautiful hardcovers that Vertical has put out. Probably the highest quality books that I have ever purchased in my entire life. I'm surprised that this series is not out of print, because they are still in print. If you're a fan of Mobile Suit Gundam, highly recommend you guys to pick this up before they go out of print. Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt volumes 1 through 11. This tells a story. This has a dark story, alright, or I guess a darker than usual Mobile Suit Gundam story, which I do enjoy. Monsters volumes 1 through 9, the complete series. This is my favorite Naoki Urasawa manga. I like this better than 20th Century Boys. Monster Musume volumes 1 through 14, up to date. I think the series is on hiatus right now, but this is one of my biggest guilty pleasures of all time. I have no shame in this, and I am a proud owner of this silly, ecchi, perverted series. Murcielago volumes 1 through 10, a crazy, bloody, violent manga series about a psychopathic lesbian who gets into these ridiculous hijinks. Very fun read, very bizarre, very enjoyable nonetheless. My Hero Academia volumes 1 through 19. As you can see, I am running out of shelf space, which is becoming a problem. really needs no introduction. My Hero Academia is My Hero Academia, just an amazing Shonen Jump series that's ongoing right now. Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, volumes 1 through 7. This is the manga version of the amazing movie series that is done by Hayao Miyazaki himself. Neon Genesis Evangelion, volumes 1 through 14, the complete series. This is the manga adaptation of the critically acclaimed legendary anime Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I'm not a fan. Count me as one of those people who's not a big fan of what Netflix has done to the anime adaptation. They took out Fly Me to the Moon. They changed a lot of the dialogues. The English dub sounds weird, and all that stuff. No Longer Human, volumes 1 through 3. One of the most depressing things I've ever read. This is a complete series and a very out of print series. But nonetheless, this series has made me appreciate my life a lot more than ever. So I'm glad that I own this series. Norigami volumes 1 through 20 up to date. This is one of the better shonen. This is one of the better shonen manga series that I've read. A lot better than series like Black Clover, in my opinion. In my fourth shelf, we have Oh My God, it's volumes 1 through 48, the complete series. This is the single volume edition, which are out of print, but Dark Horse, I think they're reprinting this in the 3-in-1 editions. But this is a fun series that I enjoyed when I was much younger. I guess it kind of is a guilty pleasure of mine. One Piece, volumes 1 through 90. This is the only big three, or I guess quote-unquote big three Shonen Jump series that I have. Even to this day, I have no interest in picking up Naruto or Bleach. I don't care about those series. If you like those series, that is good for you. I'm glad, but I'm not a fan of those. That's simple as that. I just like One Piece. That's all I'm going to say. One Punch Man, volumes 1 through 16. This is up to date. A very fun manga series that I enjoyed when I first got into it. Kind of staled over, but nonetheless, still fun to read. People's Shoe, volumes 1 through 3. This is a manga written by an American mangaka. I think these 3 volumes are out of print, so if this is actually a pretty unique manga series in my opinion. Phoenix, volumes 1 through 12. This is perhaps the rarest manga series that I have in my collection, because I know for a fact that this series itself is running around $2,000 to $3,000 online. I found someone online who sold it for an insanely crazy good deal. I could not pass it up. So I am a proud owner of this legendary Osamu Tezuka manga, and this is my favorite Osamu Tezuka manga. I like this better than Astro Boy and a lot of his other amazing works. Planets, volumes 1 to 2, complete series written by the amazing Makoto Yukimura. Pluto, volumes 1 through 8. This is a reimagining of Astro Boy, illustrated and written by Naoki Urasara. Prison School, volumes 1 through 13, up to date. I believe the 14th volume is the final volume, and I haven't read the 12th and the 13th volume, so I really need to get into it. But nonetheless, this is a very funny manga series. This is one of those few manga series that hasn't made me laugh as much as GTO has. The Promised Neverland, volumes 1 through 10, an amazing Shonen Jump series that is still ongoing. I've been told that this is not going to be a long-running Shonen Jump series, which I think that's a good idea, in my honest opinion. The Quintessential Quintuplets, volumes 1 through 3, a very surprisingly fun harem comedy manga series that is actually very interesting, and Team Miku all the way. I don't care what you guys say. Ran in the Gray World, volumes 1 through 3. What really caught my attention about this series is its shoujo-like illustration, but this is actually a pretty good, solid series that Viz Media is currently publishing. Rosario and Vampire, Season 1, volumes 1 through 10, and Rosario and plus Vampire, volumes 1 through 14, Season 2. This is actually a rare Shonen Jump series that features an MC that is very unlikable at first, but becomes very likable. And the second season surprisingly gets very dark and very serious and crazy. So this is actually a series that I'm glad to own. Shaman Warrior Volumes 1 through 9. This is a complete Korean manhwa series published by Dark Horse, out of print. Glad to own this. A Silent Voice Volumes 1 through 7, the complete series. One of the best manga series I've ever read in my entire life. We're now at my fifth shelf. Say hello to Horikita Suzune, Mama Raiko, and our favorite Kohai Mashu. We have volumes 1 through, 31 of Slam Dunk, illustrated and written by the legendary Takehiko Inoue. Probably my one and only favorite sports manga. I really need to, I might check out Real because I've heard a lot of good things about it. Volumes 1 through 16, Spice and Wolf, the manga adaptation of the very well received light novel series. This is, so I did a little research on this series, or at least the people involved in making the manga adaptation. And Keito Kome is actually a hentai illustrator. So if you guys are gonna look him up, I mean, you've been warned, search him at your own risk. Spirit Circle, volumes 1 through 6. This is a very underrated manga series. It's a complete series. The story is absolutely amazing. It's written by the same guy who wrote the story for the anime adaptation, or the anime called Planet With. Solonin, a one-shot written by Inio Asano. Pretty solid stuff. The Tales of Wedding Ring, volumes 1 through 6. This is a guilty pleasure of mine, a very silly, funny, ecchi harem series. Tenjo Tenge volumes 1 through 11, the complete series. This was originally published by CMX, which was a manga subsidiary of DC Comics, and it was heavily censored, and people boycotted that series. CMX went out of business, and Viz Media rescued it and released it fully uncensored. So good job, Viz Media. There is a Demon Lord on the Floor, volumes 1 through 6, guilty pleasure of mine. 2 Year Eternity, volumes 1 through 9. An amazing new series written by Yoshitoki Oima, the same creator of A Silent Voice. Probably one of the best, probably one of the, I guess, most amazing new series that I've read so far. Trigun, volumes 1 and 2. The original 2 mangas and its sequel, Trigun Maximum, volumes 1 through 14. These are all out of print, but I think Dark Horse does have the ugly 3-in-1 and omnibus editions of these series. Proud owner of this, collected this back when I was a teenager. Trinity 7, volumes 1 through 16, up to date. This is a ecchi harem series that I have a huge guilty pleasure of, and the reason why I enjoy this a lot is because it features an MC, or a protagonist, who is alpha, who's not some beta loser like a lot of the pathetic MCs that we see in other ecchi harem series. Ubel Blah volumes 0 through 10. I think the 11th omnibus is the final volume, because I know that this series is over. Until Death Do Us Part, volumes 1 through 13, the complete series. This is an omnibus. These are omnibus editions. Very underrated criminal or crime drama series that I don't see a lot of people have, or still don't see a lot of people have. Uzumaki, the omnibus edition. This is the only Junji Ito series that I have. Vagabond volumes 1 through 37, the single volume editions. These are out of print, and unfortunately this is on an indefinite hiatus, and we have no idea when Takehiko Inoue is going to write chapters again. But we do know, but apparently he is writing chapters for real again, so maybe he did find some inspiration to pick up his unfinished works. Vinland Saga volumes 1 through 10, up to date. This is one of the best manga series I've ever read. There's an anime adaptation coming up, but unfortunately Amazon has taken it hostage, and Amazon could. Wandering Island volumes 1 and 2. This is up to date. This is a pretty solid short story manga series that I highly recommend you guys check out. Welcome to the Ballroom, volumes 1 through 9, up to date. This is on indefinite hiatus, unfortunately. Welcome to the NHK, volumes 1 through 8, complete series. This is a very old school Tokyo Pop series that I enjoyed reading back in the days. We Never Learn volumes 1 through 4 up to date. The anime adaptation is kind of doo-doo, so honestly just read the manga instead, because the manga is actually pretty good. Yono of the Dawn, volumes 1 through 16 right here, up to date. Probably the best shoujo manga and the only shoujo manga series that I have in my collection. And then finally, last but not least, Yuna and the Haunted Hot Spring, volumes 1 through 5. This is another guilty pleasure of mine that I absolutely enjoy. Okay everyone, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys for reaching all the way to the end. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for more videos. I will continue to do monthly videos. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Take care everybody. Bye.